hos kids.
När du väljer att axa på lantmännen, är du med att ta ansvar från jord till bord?
Be taking a bath today. I suddenly thought I'm just gonna leave it here for a while. And I can't. And I'm making this mask. It's the same one from a few months ago. This is the grapefruit one, and I'm almost done with it. I want to use it before it's expired. And then I got my book here. I'm starting